I was speaking with a friend last night, and she asked me, can you help me eat healthier? And I said, sure. What did you eat yesterday? So she said, oh, well, I had some cereal in the morning, and I had a hamburger for lunch, and I had some dinner at some place. So the reason why I'm bringing up this example is because a lot of times I do this thing called a dietary recall. And this is a way that people like me get a sense of how people are eating, and so we can make some suggestions. But actually, you can do this on your own, and that's something that we like to call food journaling. So when I asked my friend about what she ate, I found out a lot of other things, right? Because you don't just eat cereal, you have it with milk. So I found out what kind of milk she had. I actually started to figure out that she had a muffin too. It wasn't just a burger, it was also a cheeseburger. And it wasn't just a cheeseburger, she also had some fries with it. She also had a drink with it. It was actually a large soda. And then I also found out that there was a sauce on the chicken. I found out that there was some dessert at the end of the meal. So you may have noticed this already, but the thing with dietary recalls is that they're not very specific because there's a lot of details that people miss. So that's why food journaling is really important. So just to re-summarize why I brought up that example, I think that food journaling is important because you get a lot of details that you would otherwise not catch. And I think with those details, it helps with awareness, right? Because if you keep track of the details, you're more aware. And what does that awareness give you? It gives you opportunities to make some positive changes, right? If I had just taken my friend's word for it and she just sort of remembered what she had yesterday, we would have not known all those details or those things, and they would have been missing. So the second question that comes up a lot is, what does food journaling look like? Well, I think of them as a basic version and a more advanced version. So for basic, you want to write down when, or sort of the time, what you ate, how much you ate, but not just what you eat, but also what you drink. So for example, with my friend, she might have had lunch at 2 o'clock. So at 2 o'clock, she had one hamburger, she had some cheese, and she had a medium-sized French fry, right? So that's the basic version. For advanced, you want to answer questions of sort of why. This is more about the relationship with food. What do I mean by that? Relationship with food, you can put down where, with whom, right? You can also put how you were feeling. You can also put how hungry or how full you were. So I'm just going to go over each of these because they can be pretty complicated. With where, with whom, you can identify some triggers, right? Maybe you might pass by a street vendor or a vending machine, or you're with friends who eat out. So identifying those kinds of things may give you opportunities of what to change, or where to be, or who to hang out with. With feeling, you might identify that you're happy or that you're sad. Maybe you're more likely to eat when you're sad. Maybe you're more likely to eat when you're lonely. That's my best lonely face. With hungry and full, you can put numbers like 0 to 10. 10 being extremely full, like uncomfortably full, like you're red in the face, sort of you want to unbutton your pants sort of thing, or you want to wear those stretchy pants. With 0, you might be really starved, right? About to faint sort of thing. So you can actually put down maybe a number of how you feel before a meal, how you feel after a meal. Because you might notice that you're starting at a 0, and maybe that might lead you to go and eat until you're 10. So you want to get closer to maybe that 5. We could probably go over this in another video.